Good evening, everybody. Welcome to One Hub Racing for the final race across all tiers in Season 16, and it is rather fitting that it will be a championship battle. Two drivers going to tonight's race with a chance of winning the title. All Janelle has to do is finish in the top six. Ollie Flavel needs a victory to have any realistic chance, but a second with a fastest lap could be good enough for the McLaren driver if Janelle scores no points. And they're going to have to try and do this around possibly the toughest circuit on the Formula 1 game. We started with a new circuit at Zandvoort. We're going to end with a new circuit. It is the Hanoi Street Circuit. It is the Vietnam Grand Prix. My name is Luke, and alongside me is a man who can tell us just how difficult this circuit is. It is Matt from the Prospect tier. And we were saying just before the stream started, if there was any circuit in Formula 1 that I'd not want to have a chance of holding a championship lead around, it would be Vietnam. It's so easy for something to go wrong so quickly, and the weather can always play a part.
Yep, it certainly can, and welcome everyone again just for this season finale championship decider. It's got all the makings of a classic race, but whether the track can adhere to that is to be seen. But yeah, it's definitely tricky if it starts to rain at any point as well. It's definitely something to keep an eye on, but hopefully we have a dry race and some really good racing.
Yeah, hopefully. All season we've seen some really good racing. Hopefully tonight is no different. If you weren't with us last week then, for the penultimate race of the season around Silverstone, it was a great victory from Janelle, his second win in a row, third in 4 races. Ollie Flavel taking second position and getting the fastest lap means he stays in contention, but it was a bad race for some of the other title contenders going into last time. Dainstar having a crash with his teammate in the final stages, wiping them both out of the points, and meaning that Mercedes, thanks to Khalifa's 4th position, clinched the Constructors' Championship, so they've earned themselves a nice trophy and a cash prize between them. And also, Scopefielder, 10th place for him, not good enough to keep him in the championship. So it is now a 2-horse race. The last few races, every time Janelle has won, actually, Ollie has finished second. So that shows how close they've been all season. But Ollie, he needs to find some big form tonight, take the victory, and then hope Janelle has a bit of misfortune, which, as we've said, could easily happen around here.
Yeah, it definitely can, especially with turn 1 being the nature that it is, and there's some action zones. Turn 1 is definitely one of them, as I just mentioned. It's almost a full hairpin, so you have to be careful. You can't be caught off guard by going slightly too wide. Even in second gear, it's a tricky corner to get right. Turn 6 is after DRS straight, so although it might not be long enough to make a proper overtake, so you may need some more bravery on the brakes than your person that you're chasing. Turn 6 and 7, a big chicane, which provides with some racing opportunities. Turn 11, the drivers will be close after that. It's a long straight, and put that with DRS, you have the ultimate opportunity to make an overtake. And turn 12, if you're still battling for position from 11, take it into 12. The exit of 11 will determine who comes out on top through 12. Looks to be very sunny conditions as qualifying is underway.
Yeah, perfect conditions for qualifying, and I'm sure the drivers will all be happy around that. It is a compulsory 2-stop. Let's not forget here in One Hub, in what is a very interesting pit lane layout, a bit like Canada. It feeds you out into the middle of the circuit, so it is a big possibility for some of the drivers in the pits. Sometimes you might think they're being overtaken, and then they will suddenly shoot themselves further up. We have got a few drivers heading out on circuit. We've already mentioned, obviously, the championship battle, Janelle and Ollie, 18 points between them at the moment, but we'll go through the entire order of the top 5 and then the rest of the race premium drivers. So it is Janelle leading the championship. You can see him on his outlap at the moment on 162 points. Ollie Flavel has 144, Dainstar 113, Scopefield at 103, Jimbo Manzi on 77 points. The rest of the race premium drivers, you've got Khalifa 6th on 74. He'll be hoping for a top 5 in the championship to finish his season off. Lukey, best of that midfield pack, in 7th on 42. Verheyen, his first podium's currently got him in 10th on 39 points. J. Luke 11th 34. Kian 12th 26. Jonas 13th on 13. Ivan 15th on 3. James Dovey taking points on his debut last time out for the fastest lap outside the top 10. He's on 1 point. And Sam and Lawrence yet to get a point. Could well get one tonight, could well see some shock results around here. And as we said as well, the constructors, Mercedes, with a 46-point lead, with 44 remaining, means that they are the constructors' champions. Very tricky circuit indeed. And I think one of the reasons why, as we see Jano coming through this S section at the moment, is there's so many different types of corners. You've got the very tight and twisty turn 1 and pretty much all the way around to turn 5. Very slow, very awkward. Then huge straights coming out of turn 5 into turn 6, and then all the way from 9 to 11 basically being a long straight. And then that S section at the end of the lap where you really need a lot of downforce on your car to get through there quickly. So the drivers have to make some setup choices for this circuit. You're not going to be fast through all 3 sectors. It's just which part of the track you're going to have to try and just cope with the car and admit that you'll be slower.
Yeah, it's very, very tricky to find a perfect balance here, and I don't think such a thing exists. Such is the nature of this track. We don't know enough about it, obviously. As you say, it's the third and final race in one-up season here this week across all tiers, so we're still learning. But it's definitely... Some drivers will prefer to have the corner stability to lose out on straight line speed, but others will think it's all about straight line speed and suffer in the corners. So hopefully that brings us some good racing, but we will see. But qualifying, I don't know how we're going to go.
Yeah, I always get the feeling that if you're starting near the front, you want that stability. If you're starting further down, you might want that straight line speed just to give you a better chance of overtaking. We'll go on board then with Sam, one of our race premium drivers, as he heads now down towards turn 1, a tricky braking zone indeed. Expect to see a few broken front wings there. This very long turn 2 where the game does let you run wide off circuit, as Verheyen has retired in the pit lane. Not quite sure why, because I don't believe he had a qualifying ban. Sam though keeps it nice and tidy through 3, 4 and 5. DRS open here as he now heads down towards the chicane at 6 and 7 to start off this roundabout section. Got to be very careful that you don't invalidate your lap. You take a very wide line all the way through turn 8 and 9 there to straighten yourself up as you head onto this incredibly long flat out section, building up the throttle flat out through turn 11. You'll see the cars coming side by side here. DRS open on the Renault, and you head towards the braking zone of turn 12. Spot the braking boards on the right hand side as late as you dare, coming here into turn 11 actually, sorry, turn 12 there, similar to China for the final hairpin, just the opposite way round. And this is similar to the final corner at China, except here it leads you into the final sector, turn 13. Again, be careful not to run too wide. Then here is this S section, almost reminiscent of Maggots and Beckett's and the S's at Suzuka as they get slower as you go around. So it's all about keeping the rhythm and not pushing too hard into every corner. A slight overtaking opportunity perhaps into the penultimate corner, but you'd have to be extremely brave to give it a go there as Sam takes us around the 23rd and final corner in the Renault on a 134.234. I think I'll be reasonably happy with that after a struggle season by his standards at least, but it is a Mercedes 1-2 at the moment. Janil showing some incredible pace, a 133.2, fastest time we've seen this evening.
Yeah, it looked like a decent lap, and he did well not to be distracted by the car going slightly off the track in the final sector there, so good job for him as Sam was going around. But as you mentioned while you're on that lap, Verheyen retired in the pit lane. He was in the driver's press conference this week, and he was asked how the jump from podium to precision has been for him, in which he replied, "All around has been fun. It's nice to get practice with drivers who are better than me. I've had some bad races this season, but I would still say the season's gone really well, especially as I got my first podium last week."
Yeah, I mean, he did a fantastic job last week. Here we go on board with Downstar. He's coming through the final sector, admits he's using a time trial setup, so we'll have to see how he copes on the medium tyres, because it's probably not ideal whatsoever, and this doesn't look like it'll be a lap that is challenging towards the top of the timing charts. We'll see what he can do. 136.058. I don't think that's too bad of a run on those medium tyres, as Ollie Flavel, second position at the moment, still half a second behind Janil, but he's alongside his championship rival at the moment. Still though, a long, long way to go. As we go on board with Schnitzel, he crossed the line in 10th last time out at Silverstone. Got a 5-second penalty removed though. Managed to pick up a few points. He's also informed us that it is dry around here, and unlike a lot of the other drivers, he's not expecting a lot of safety cars because he thinks you're more likely to break your front wing in an accident rather than have a big DNF and cause a safety car, and that could well open the strategies wide open if we do see the safety car come out on track, because a lot of drivers seem to feel that Bernd Mailander will be making multiple appearances this evening.
Yeah, I mean, I don't expect any big incidents. I think the only issue we will have is debris, because the nature of the track, you're just going to have debris flying all over. If it's a hard enough hit, that's probably going to be a bigger cause than any for the safety car. But Jimbo Manzi's on his first lap of the evening, and he looks to be quite tidy so far as he comes round the end of the first sort of mini roundabout, kind of whatever you want to call it. It might as well be, I suppose. And then you have the massive sort of straight, but it's not actually straight. But I hate straights like that. It's just, call it a straight or not, mate. Get a grip, track designers.
Not as annoying as turn 2 at Austria, which is definitely not a turn. That is the hill I am willing to die on when it comes to Formula 1 circuits. But Jimbo just says he's going to go out and enjoy it, and that's pretty much what he's done all season. Picked up 3 podiums so far. Every time he's managed to reach the finish line, last week he was classified as 14th, he's finished in the top 5, so definitely a quick driver, and we'll see if he can maybe end the season on a high this time around. And this final sector, the walls are ever so close. The drivers will be glad it's dry, because this part of the track is an absolute nightmare in the wet, and it might be a difficult part of this track on worn tyres as well. So the 2-stop strategy probably helping a lot of drivers tonight, as Jimbo just give the wall a slight tap there, managed to get away without any major damage. He moves up into 5th.
Yeah, definitely got away without major damage there, but I did a similar thing and I lost some of my end plates, so it's very, I guess, lucky that he didn't lose any body work, but it's easy done, I suppose. If it happens in the race, though, you could have a much harder time of it. And let's find someone else that's on a lap. Rimpe's about to get started on an out lap. We will find some more. Luke is further around on his lap, I think. So, yeah, Luke is on the straight. So we'll go on board with him very shortly, I imagine. He hasn't set a time yet. Neither has J. Luke, who is also on an out lap.
Yeah, we've also got James Dovey as well. He is on an out lap. Well, he's on a flying lap at the moment. Personal best in Sector 1. Interestingly, despite Jandel being half a second faster than everyone else, it's not fastest in all 3 sectors. Scopefielder fastest in the first sector, suggesting to me he's really got turn 1 and that tricky sort of 2, 3, 4, 5 where you need a lot of good rhythm and be careful not to run too wide. Suggests to me that Scopefielder has got that part of the circuit nailed at the moment, as James heading down to the braking zone here for turn 11, just goes a bit deep over that curb at 12. I think any chance of a major improvement on this lap has just gone out of the window there. We'll see what time he can do. And yeah, lost about 3.5 tenths in that sector alone. Gets very close to the walls there. Not the cleanest lap, but one of the drivers, one of many this season, who've benefited from the role of the fastest laps here at One Hope. You get a point for the fastest lap in the top 10. You also get a point for the fastest lap outside of the top 10 as well, and he managed to finish 11th last time out on his debut, which I'm sure he was absolutely delighted with, as Sam was actually fastest in the first sector here. Yet to get any points this season. Could the Renault driver maybe finish on a high?
We'll see. He's started off well with the purple Sector 1, but he did mention that Scopefielder's got Sector 1 now. It's not by a lot, but it's quick enough. So that would definitely help, but he's all over the place in Sector 2. He's half a second off Janel there, so that's probably where all the damage is done. But we'll see how Sam gets on as he's just rounding towards the final few corners. Let's see if he can bring it home. He's gone, as we said, purple Sector 1. Didn't really improve Sector 2, I don't think, but we'll see.
Goes green in Sector 3, so personal best lap for Sam, 1:33.875, as Khalifa has managed to get himself up into second position. Very good a lap from him. Rimpe's invalidated his lap after improving, so that is a big shame for him. Danestar, we're going to see a lot of improvements, obviously, because he's now out. But Danestar's now out, obviously, on the soft tyre, so we're going to see some big improvements from him. Janel jumping over the curbs there, being very aggressive indeed at the moment. He's only on pole by 1.5 tenths at the moment, and this is fantastic teamwork. It was mentioned in the team's press conference, because Mercedes have won the title, that you need 2 quick drivers, and some of the other teams that have lacked that. You also need 2 drivers that are working absolutely fantastically, and Khalifa giving his teammate a big hand down the straight there on the run down into turn 11. Jano just snatches a front left, so maybe a bit too much of a good thing there. We'll see if he's improved in the middle sector at all, has Janel. And yeah, he has purple in the middle sector. This could be a great lap. This could be a 132 from the championship leader.
Yeah, well, that would be something, wouldn't it? But we'll see how he gets on around the final few corners. Khalifa's in second place at the moment, as Hollywood Favel will be hoping to improve later in the session, but he doesn't have long to think about it, as we're under 6 minutes now. Let's stay on board with Janel as he goes around the final corner and crosses the line with 32.8.
Fantastic lap from Janel. Half a second faster than his teammate. Ollie Flavel is improving slightly. Can he get himself up into third position? Indeed he does. Just jumping Scopefielder. Less than a tenth off of the front row. Janel, he looks like he's got this track absolutely nailed at the moment in qualifying. This would be his 3rd pole position in a row. He's had 4 poles so far this season, and as far as I'm aware, no one else has had more than 1. So that is an absolutely fantastic performance at the moment from Janel. He says, though, he hates this track with a passion. It could easily go wrong, but at the moment he's looking fantastic, and it's less likely to go wrong if you're in the lead of the race, if you're controlling it, if you know that you just have to finish in the top 6 to become the champion.
Yeah, all you have to do is just finish. You don't have to win the race. But he'd like to, obviously. You always want to win, but he doesn't necessarily have to. And to put it mildly, hates his track with a passion. It's I've seen worse responses in the drivers' interviews, mine included. I'm sure that raised a few chuckles across the paddock, but yeah, it's not a great idea, this track. I don't know why, but not many people are enjoying it. But you do still have 17 quickest in Sector 1, so Janel tells me he could improve, doesn't have to, but could. And he's about half a second quicker than anybody, well, at least 2 tenths quicker than anyone in Sector 2. And there or thereabouts in Sector 3, so he's really got it all in his favour in qualifying so far, but 4 minutes to go, it could change, and the race, of course, we don't know what's going to happen there.
Yeah, the fact that he's fastest in Sector 2 and Sector 3 suggests to me that he's running a bit more downforce to make him fastest through Sector 3. You'd expect that to slow you down in the straights, but you can see the massive slipstream he's getting off Khalifa, so I think it's the teamwork that's helping him in Sector 2, and maybe if we see some of the other teams working together, we've got both Mercedes, obviously, we've seen that already, both Red Bulls have worked together fairly well throughout the championship. Ollie and Kelvin, maybe if there's a bit of communication between them, we could see some teamwork, both Alfa Romeos. Quite a few teams have got the doubles tonight, both Racing Points as well, so we'll have to wait and see. It's very quiet all of a sudden around this Hanoi street circuit. We've got 5.607 kilometres of track, just under 4 miles, only 3 cars at the moment, so they've got plenty of space, and it's Jimbo Manzi next to come around. He's going to try and set a flying lap. Can he get up into the 133s? Can he challenge the top 6 with just 3 minutes remaining in the session? So this could very possibly be his final run, although it looks he's not running any ERS at the moment, so I'm not sure whether this is just like a second warm-up lap just to have a go later on. He opens his DRS and he goes through his ERS now, so have to wait and see what his time is in the first sector, because he's definitely got time to go for another lap, and it is a personal best for him. So turns out he's not going for a second warm-up lap. He is just pushing. He wants to get himself further up the grid. He wants to secure 5th place in the championship.
Yeah, it's not a bad place to be, and of course, you know, you can definitely find some form going into the next season, because there won't be that much difference in the tiers. I don't think you're familiar with the game now, so hopefully you can have a more even playing field at the start of the new season, which will be at some point in the future. Don't know yet when, but shouldn't be too long after the break.
Yeah, it shouldn't be too long indeed. We know Austria is going to be hosting the first race as Scopefielder. He's retired in the pit, so 4th will be the best that he can do in the Seoul AlphaTauri at the moment. They actually dropped behind McLaren last time in the Constructors. Ollie's 2nd place, meaning McLaren has a very slender lead for 3rd at the moment in the Constructors' Championship of just 2 points over the Italian team as Jimbo Manzi comes around the final corner. What can he do? It was a personal best in the second sector as well. Can he challenge for top 5? Indeed he can. Moves ahead of Sam, not too far off Scopefielder. I think he'll be pretty happy with that improvement. There is definitely time to be found on this circuit. A few of the drivers, though, you're going to have to hope that there's half a second to be found to try and catch up to Janel, as Lukey, he's invalidated his lap. Could well be qualifying over for the Alfa Romeo driver. Down in 12th at the moment, but at least you'll get a free choice of tyres for starting outside the top 10.
Yep, there's always that little bonus if you can't make it, but I was going to say he was his personal best Sector 1, but then he invalidated in Sector 2, so he'll be probably annoyed with that, but as you say, fresh choice of tyres can give you all sorts of strategy options, especially with an early safety car, so wouldn't rule him out just yet.
Yeah, I might rule out one of the racing points though, because I saw a bit of debris on the racetrack, and yeah, James Dovey has lost his front right end plate, so I think it is qualifying over for him, and yeah, he's just taking it nice and easy. But again, as we said, fresh choice of tyres, early safety cars, anything could happen. Khalifa, fastest of everyone in the final sector, securing second place at the moment. We're seeing some pretty big gaps in qualifying tonight. Podium tier, pole position, Pizza Parker got that by over half a second. Janil, 3 tenths ahead of Khalifa at the moment, who himself is a quarter of a second ahead of Ollie Flavel. We'll get into the business end now. Checkered flag will be out in a few seconds, and it will be J. Luke, the first man to set a time. He's in 9th position at the moment. He managed to get some good points out last time, equaling his best finish with 6th at Silverstone. What can he do in qualifying here? Moves up 1 position at the moment into 8th place. One of the Red Bulls, that is Jimbo, is pulling into the pits as we've got Lawrence coming around the final few corners. He's not got any points yet this season. Those drivers who are struggling for points seem to be putting in a pretty decent performance at the moment. Lawrence comes across the line, a slight improvement for him. Sam jumps up into 3rd place. He is absolutely loving this circuit at the moment. Could we see another Renault on the podium after last week? Schnitzel, he rounds the final corner. He goes up into 8th. Janil at the moment, he's on his final lap. Can he find any improvement? He was best of everyone in the middle sector.
That's definitely Sam, good performance there in qualifying. P3 so far provisionally. That's outstanding. He definitely seems to have tuned into this circuit very quickly. But what's it like with a full tank of fuel?
Yeah, we'll have to see. Janil goes even faster there with a 132.813. Only a slight improvement. Jonas can't improve at all. Ollie Flavel, has he made a mistake somewhere on his lap? I think he has actually lost his end plate as well. So he's going to be in 4th. 3 places behind his championship rival. Janil takes pole position. And as we quite often see in Formula 1, it's a Mercedes 1-2.
Yes, but Lukey just pops it into P8 there in the Alfa Romeo. So great final lap in the final seconds for him.
Yeah, actually, it's quite surprised Lukey managed to get round in time to set another lap, but he did, so great news for him. He has got himself up into the top 10 as of both Alfa Romeos, but is another pole position, a 5th of the season out of only 10 races, let's not forget, for Janil. He has his teammate Khalifa alongside him. Sam, no points so far this season, starting in 3rd. This could be a fantastic opportunity for him. Ollie Flavel is 4th, Scopefielder 5th, Jimbo Manzi 6th, and all Alfa Romeo 4th over the grid with Jonas and Lukey. Schnitzel always seems to keep it clean. He is 9th. J. Luke rounds out the top 10. Lawrence in 11th will have free tyre choice, as well James Dovey. Dainstar down in 13th. Rimpe 14th. Kelvin didn't set a time. And Verheyen retired at the start of qualifying. I wonder if he's trying to see how high up the grid he can get. It is going to be a dry race. Strategy-wise, probably soft, medium, soft, soft, medium, medium, assuming no safety cars.
Yep. We can never assume, though, in Formula 1, especially around an unknown track. You never know, but assuming no safety cars is always the best thing to do, but be prepared for them, of course. And while we have a moment, we'd like to thank our sponsors each and every week, as we always do around this time. The first one being Liam13, who you can find and check out on Facebook Gaming and sometimes Twitch. And the second sponsor is Next Level Racing, who are sponsoring a wheel stand to the winner of the Going Gets Tough award.
Yes, only 6 drivers, I believe, left in the Going Gets Tough award, and you are one of them. So I imagine, in a way, you're hoping Scopefielder puts in a good performance tonight, because if he finishes 11 points ahead of Danestar, Scopefielder will be in the top 3 in the championship, so no longer becomes eligible. So that's 5 drivers that will be left in. But we've got a lot of racing, obviously, to go between then and now. The drivers just beginning to ready up, picking their strategies, editing what they can on the setup, which is only really fuel levels and front wing and diff, which they can edit as they go around as well. And judging by that 1 lap pace, Janel is going to be extremely hard to beat tonight. Ollie's just got to go for it. He's got nothing to lose at the moment. He needs to take the victory and then just hope some misfortune befalls his championship rival.
Yeah, you always hope for misfortune, but you never really want to see it. But it's definitely bad for Ollie, who's got 2 buffers between himself and Janel. One of them is Janel's teammate, so that is going to be an insurmountable barrier, perhaps, for Ollie to get past. Because, you know, Khalifa's playing the team game. We don't know about Sam. I don't think he's been this far up this season, after qualifying at least. So, and to bring you back to the point about Jimbo finishing in the top 3 of the Go and Get Stuff award, I hadn't even given that much thought, to be fair. I just want to see a great race. If he does it, great. If not, then we'll see what the wheel brings.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see, won't we? Looking at the strategy then, everyone in the top 10 on the softs. Lawrence and Rimpe will be on fresh softs as well. James, Deanstar, Kelvin and Vahanian going slightly longer on the medium, so they perhaps won't be hoping for a lap 1 safety car. I've done 1 league race around here. I think I just about made it out of turn 1 before I saw the safety car come out on circuit. So anything could happen. Expect to see great teamwork between these 2 Mercedes. They did it last time. Khalifa quite happy in the end. He ended up winning driver of the day. It looked like he wasn't going to get any points. He kept it nice and clean, managed to finish in 4th place, and a welcome return to form for Khalifa, because he really did look as though he could win the championship at the start of the season. Sort of tailed off in the middle, just bad luck and getting involved in incidents, so maybe he'll be hoping he could get himself another victory tonight, especially knowing that Janel doesn't need to take the win, but he won't want to take his teammate out. We've seen that happen at Mercedes before. We don't want to see it again.
No, we definitely don't want to repeat the last week when the Red Bulls took each other out. As saying that, Red Bull's been removed from the formation after the collision with Rimpe. Not sure what happened back there, but as you say, Khalifa's been very hot and cold at various points this season. He started off on fire, and it was a monumental top 5-6 battle that could have been decided today, but unfortunately 3 of the contenders fell away, and now we're just left with Janel and Ollie Flavel.
Yes, Janel with the view he will want to keep for all 28 laps of this race. Ollie Flavel, 4th position. Can he work his way up? Top 2 with the fastest lap is the bare minimum. Victory really, though, what he needs to have any hope, and if he does win, Janel just needs the top 6 to take the Drivers' Championship and make it a 2nd consecutive precision tier title. We normally talk about track history, of course, during the formation lap. There is none. This is the first night that One Hub has ever been here. And will we see history being made with a 2nd consecutive title for Janel in the Mercedes as we wait for the lights to come on here? We have got 5 lights at Vietnam. And we are racing here, and it is a decent start from Janel straight away. Khalifa moving across to just defend from Sam, and that might give Ollie Flavel a chance, who hasn't exactly had the greatest of starts, and Scopefielder will be looking to try and fit his way around the outside. They all seem to be through turn 1 cleanly. No, they're not. Verheyen has gone around on the exit of turn 1, and he's had a big crash trying to warm his tyres up there. So lost his front wing, and he's in the barriers, and that is a virtual safety car straight away. We haven't even got to turn 6. The VSC is out. All drivers have to reduce their pace. All have to follow the Delta. I wouldn't be surprised if we see some more.
Yeah, I'd be very surprised if that's the only one we have in the race. But I should quickly mention James Dovey, I think, readied up before anybody else, so he'll be getting a penalty after the race, but that's to be decided later. But right now he's down in P12 on the mediums, as you pointed out during the formation lap, one of 3 drivers outside the top 10 to do so. It's interesting. Maybe they were hoping for safety cars. They could have had track position for a bit and maybe led the race, as all the soft runners would have came into pit, but that wasn't to be. We had a VSC and we're back green again.
Yeah, we are back green again, and Dainstar sent one down the inside of Rimpey. A very robust move from the Red Bull driver, trying to use those medium tyres, trying to not get stuck behind the soft runners, as we see a two-stop strategy he could go for there. Or going medium, soft, soft. I'd be very surprised to see any hard tyres tonight. You can see not too much position changes either. Lawrence up one at expense of J-Luke, so Lawrence in the points for the first time. Lukey getting ahead of his teammate, but as we head towards the end of lap 1, it is Janil in the lead of this race. Khalifa in second. Sam still doing well in third place, as we've got another yellow flag, and I think that is Dainstar, who's had a slight spin. No damage done to him. Calvin seems to have dropped back as well, but he doesn't have any damage, thankfully. As we get onto lap 2, then Janil leading, Khalifa in second place, and he can just create that buffer at the moment. Keep his teammate nice and safe is what he'll be trying to do, but there's 3 DRS zones, let's not forget, as J-Luke has gone round and he's got big damage to his front wing.
Yeah, I was just looking for the damage report. Rimpey also got a bit of damage on his front wing as well, so there could be a multitude of early stops, and I have no idea why that word popped into my head, but we'll go with it now.
Yeah, I think looking at Rimpey's car, it seems to have damage on both his end plates, so at least there's some balance there, but not in the way you'd like. And Kelvin already trying to slipstream the racing point. I was about to say, we're going to see a lot of slipstreaming next lap when they're able to use DRS for the first time down this incredibly long straight, in inverted commas, from turn 9 to turn 11. Rimpey's gone extremely deep there, trying to get a better exit, and Calvin just says thank you very much. I will take that 12th position as Dainstar tries to recover, and J-Luke, he'll be coming into the pits as well this lap with the broken front wing. Janil and Khalifa getting away at the moment. That is all important for these guys. Khalifa would not want to be under any pressure from anyone behind, because he knows Sam's were going to want to score points, but if Ollie's anywhere near the back of anyone tonight, he's just going to send it. He's got absolutely nothing to lose. He's just got to go for this and go all out to try and get a victory and just hope things fall his way.
Yeah, you certainly need a bit of luck. Sometimes it's better to be lucky than good, but if you're good enough, you will win anyway. So I've never really understood that saying, but it sort of makes sense. But it's as you were at the start of the race on lap 3.
Yeah, not too many changes at the top at the moment. They all seem to be in that, I've said it so many times, that zone over half a second where you get the DRS, you sort of catch up, get into the dirty air, and then drop back again. So not too many position changes at the moment. Someone who could be under threat is Sam, but it looks like he's had a pretty decent exit out of turn 9 at the moment. This is just pure slipstream at the moment from Ollie. Now he can open the DRS on the McLaren, and now Sam's thinking about going defensive here, so he's going to have to go the long way around in the McLaren on the run down to turn 11. Can he go all the way around the outside? Can he get the cutback even? No, Sam very wise to that, and this battling is just going to cost a pair of them time. It might allow Scopefielder and Jimbo to catch up. Lukey sort of on his own at the moment in 7th place, with Jonas, his teammate, behind, holding off from Snixel, and Lawrence just holding on to the final points place at the moment. Again, sort of on his own on the soft tyres, whereas those on the mediums will be struggling at this moment in time. Ollie looking very racy at the moment, all over the back of Sam. Will he be close enough to maybe send a move down into turn 1? You said earlier, Matt, very difficult indeed. He's definitely looking close. Sam having to go defensive here, but no, in the end, Ollie can't do anything about it. Probably saving it to either turn 6 or that long run out of 9.
Yeah, that would be the smarter thing to do, because you could also get DRS as well being this close. It's probably not a good idea to try it into turn 1 at this stage of the race. Definitely just wait for the DRS to take effect, which it does now. But can it help, as it's a very long straight and Sam seems to have got a very good run so far. Well, we'll stay with this till the end of this little section, but I don't think he's close enough. No, indeed he's not. Is that a chance of coming out of this little sort of mini roundabout, I guess?
Yeah, we'll have to see. Sam again coming out of that corner. Lawrence has been into the pits, as has James Dovey. They have both broke their front wing, and it looks like J-Luke's broken his front wing again. He's having an absolute nightmare here. Ollie is a bit closer than last time, and he might be able to just try and send it down the inside. No, Sam defending that inside line like his life depends on it. He wants his first podium this season. And Ollie, again, not able to get close enough. And this is just bringing Scopefielder into this. If Ollie... I know I said he's got to go for it, but if he sends a move that's not really on, Scopefielder's just going to say, thank you very much, I'll have your 4th position, as Danestar gets ahead of Kelvin, gets himself back into the points.
Yeah, and of course, with Scopefielder gaining, you've got Manzi right on the back of Scopefielder as well, so if Scopefielder gets Ollie, then Manzi will be having to go down the inside as well, presumably at some point, as Sam pits, so that's very early. There's no damage report.
No damage for Sam, and none for Lukey either, so they're both into the pits. This is a scheduled pit stop. This is very interesting indeed. Could be interesting for Ollie Flavelle now, because he's got no DRS, and Scopefielder and Jimbo will be hunting him down. We haven't really spoke about the leaders much at the moment. Janil in the lead of this race, just keeping his teammates at bay at the moment, keeping it nice and steady. Khalifa, 3.6 seconds now behind Ollie, and it's the hard tyres for Sam. Wasn't expected to see those tonight. They're not really a favoured tyre around many circuits, if we're being perfectly honest, especially ones where the softs seem to be doing okay, like here at Vietnam. We weren't really expecting too many drivers to go for the harder tyres, as James Dovey making good use of his softs at the moment, moves his way up into 12 ahead of Lawrence. At least for Sam, he's come out in a bit of free air, so you could try and use the pace of them fresh hard tyres, but I think this might be a bit more of a struggle for him. We'll have to wait and see how this strategy goes, of course.
Yeah, he's definitely playing the long game, but it's a weird one. The hards definitely aren't the most favoured tyre, as you point out. But you know, it's some drivers prefer the hards, especially if they think they'd stop early, go on the hards, and then there's more options to them at the later stages of the race where they have to stop again, of course. But I don't know what he's thinking at that point, but I did watch it. Looked like he was changing his wing, but there's no damage, so I don't know whether that's just a little bit of damage that won't register, or just the driver just panicked to press the wrong button or whatever. Scope is in, as is Jimbo Manzi, so that is Ollie Flavelle back into P3. We're just going to go for another lap, but they won't be too long from pitching themselves, the leading 3. As Khalifa nearly runs into the back of his teammate under braking, but he didn't, so Janos keeps in the lead, but Khalifa has DRS, but will he use it?
I mean, he'll definitely use it to catch up, but I don't think he's going to go for an overtake unless it's a safe overtake. You're not going to go for one here that could possibly cause problems for your teammate whatsoever, because that is just not a wise idea whatsoever. Scope, Snixel and Jimbo Manzi all coming out on the medium tyres. J. Luke's been into the pits for the final of his compulsory 2 stops. Damage once again, so sort of makes sense that he's going for the hards, and Snixel coming out ahead of Sam. So yeah, Sam's definitely had a front wing change, and I'm not quite sure why, unless it was just an adjustment to the front wing rather than a full change. But he does seem to have lost a lot of time during this pit stop period. I mean, you can see at the moment he's about, what, 5 seconds behind Scopefielder all of a sudden, who must be looking pretty good to take 3rd place at the moment, depending on how long Ollie can take these softs. And you imagine Jano might be coming in this lap as... Oh, Sam! Front wing damage. Completely gone. It's just not been his season, and it is a virtual safety car. What timing for those who haven't pitted yet that are just coming around to the pitch. Khalifa might have to stay out here. No, he is going to go for the double stack, but this has worked out brilliantly for the front 3 drivers, maybe even Jonas as well.
Yeah, I was just thinking, they definitely was going to pit this lap anyway, presumably, because everyone else had. But they've just got very lucky with the timing of the VSC. That's presumably for David, because that was quite a heavy impact for Sam there, whose unfortunately strategy is not going to work for him. So I doubt he'll be going on another pair of hards as Kelvin speeds into the pit lane. I don't know how you feel. I did that earlier. Just keep going, my friend. You'll be alright.
Yeah, DRS is enabled. Not the longest VSC period, as Sam is now out of the session. We could very quickly see a VSC coming out again, or even a full safety car here. So Janil in the lead of the race, and a double stack definitely not working for Mercedes. Ollie Flavelle into 2nd. Now he's got a direct shot at Janil, but he's 4 seconds behind. Schofield did get up into 3rd in the end. Khalifa is 4th. Lukey 5th. Jonas 6th. Snixel 7th. James Dovey 8th. Danestar. No, actually, Danestar will get in 8th place. He took advantage to pit as well, despite starting on the mediums. James Dovey is 9th. Lawrence 10th. Kelvin 11th. Rimpe 12th. Jimbo Manzi 13th as Schnitzel down the inside into turn 6 ahead of Jonas. Only 2 cars not running in this race then at the moment are the 2 Renaults. Such a shame that their season is going to end in that way. Now we're going to see what the pace is like on the medium tyres for some of these front runners, because we didn't really see it in qualifying. A lot have admitted that they haven't done a lot of practice just because I don't think they enjoy this circuit too much, according to the pre-race interviews, as it looks like Jonas is going to fight back at Schnitzel round the outside into turn 11. So Schnitzel, the dummy, gets ahead before the braking zone. Fantastic move from Jonas. So it looks like he's enjoying these medium tyres. What's the pace going to be like for the rest of these guys? Ollie needs to close up to Janel, and Khalifa, he'll be trying to get ahead of Schofielder because he looked pretty quick in qualifying himself.
Yeah, he certainly did. I was just doing some quick assessments in the double retirement for the Renault team, which is not ideal. If J-Luke can finish 7th or higher Haas jump Renault in the standings, as the other Haas driver doesn't seem to be here tonight. So it's all on J-Luke.
Yes, it is all on J-Luke. If you guys want a bit more information about how the strategy is going, you can use the !help function in the chat, which I've put for you, and it will come up with all the TAS settings, which will tell you the drivers' fastest laps, where they are in the championship at the moment, and what sort of pace they were setting, and also what penalties the drivers have as well. So make sure to use that, and it looks pretty clean at the moment. I think for most of the field, we've seen Jonas has got a penalty, I believe, and obviously Kelvin has his 5 seconds, as well as Khalifa all over the back of Schofielder. He not getting an ideal run though through 8 into 9, and you'll just see that Alpha Tauri get away as James Dovey, using those softs again, tries to get himself up into 8th. We've seen a Racing Point and a Red Bull come together in Portugal today. We very nearly had one come together there. He makes his way back up into 8. Khalifa though, straightforward pass ahead of Schofielder. He's back onto the podium.
Yep, for now he's cemented his place back at the podium. Just want to say it was Verstappen's fault. Anyway, we'll look at Jonas as he goes for a move on Schnitzel, which is a little bit deep, but stays in front just about. But this is not over yet. This move could still get done from Jonas. But I think Schnitzel has it quite defended now.
Yeah, Schnitzel getting ahead of Jonas. James having to defend from Danestar there, but just about managing to stay ahead, using those soft tyres and nearly losing those soft tyres into the barriers there in 8th position. The top 7 definitely breaking away. These guys 7 seconds behind. And you can see you've got James, Danestar, and then Lawrence and Kelvin not too far behind them. Rimpe quite a long way back, as is Jimbo Manzi, who's been into the pits then for a second time. And yeah, wing damage, I believe, from Jimbo Manzi. So he's coming to the pits for what will be a second time as Rimpe retires in the pits then. We're down to just 13 runners. Vietnam, not surprisingly, I think, proving to be a race of attrition. Khalifa then, free from Schofielder at the moment. Still going to be quite a challenge for him to catch up to Ollie Flavelle. 5 seconds to gap. I know there's a long way to go. I know we've got another pit stop. He's got to try and gain a quarter of a second a lap at the moment, so we'll see if he can do that. Out in front though, Janel looking as though he's breezing towards the championship, but one slight mistake, we've already seen how easy it is to break your front wing here, and everything could change.
Yeah, it's very easy just to clip a barrier or wall or anything, and oftentimes you will get away with it, but unfortunately in the case of some of these drivers, they haven't been so lucky, and there's been several wing changes already, as we've informed you. As we know, Danestar's broke his wing recently as well, so he's probably changed that already, but that's just an example that even Janel could get one. I'm not saying he will, but he could if he's defending from Ollie Flavelle perhaps, which they are 1-2 now, so this could get spicy real quick.
Yes, it could. It's been pretty spicy between Jonas and Schnitzel. This time the Alfa Romeo driver is back ahead, 6th and 7th. These two just getting DRS and battling. Might slow each other down, might speed each other up, because obviously they're just giving each other that boost down 3 of the straights. This being one of them as they come on to lap 10. Kelvin moves up, and that is because Danestar into the pits then with that broken front wing. Again, another race where it's not been ideal for the Red Bulls, and I sort of feel guilty for this because I'd have said they were slight Constructors' Championship favourites going into the last round, and they ended up losing it towards the end. But a front wing change for Danestar, and that is going to drop him round about where his teammate is probably behind. So they are down in 11th and 12th position. Back to the battle then between Schnitzel and Jonas. Williams not close enough to have a go into turn 6, but we've seen it happen before. He's not scared about going the outside or the inside into turn 11.
No, it depends where you get the most grip, I suppose, and he definitely seems to have a better exit there. Does Jonas, who's ahead of Schnitzel, going down the straight. Sorry, I had a moment, I didn't know where we were on the track. So it all looks the same. It's not my fault, I'm tired. But yeah, Schnitzel still behind.
Yeah, Schnitzel still behind for now. Jonas just has a slightly fresher mediums, but you wouldn't expect them to make any real difference at that moment in time. James obviously having a bit of free air now, down in 8th place. It looks like Lovens has dropped back an ever so slightly from Kelvin, which again you'd expect Kelvin on the soft tyres, Lovens on the mediums, but could still get his first point this season, which I'm sure will be well deserved. Let's not forget he was leading in Canada before he got that slight tap which sent him plummeting out of the race. Hopefully he will get some points this time around. Scopefielder, to say how quickly Khalifa caught up and overtook Scopefielder, the Alpha Tauri is hanging in there with him.
Yeah, Khalifa's definitely making short works of his overtaking opportunities, but he is taking the cars he just overtook with him. So that's always room for potential more battles. There's a massive gap between 4th and 5th though. Lukey has a 4-second advantage over Jonas as well, who's still fighting with Schnitzel.
Yeah, Jonas and Schnitzel. I think this is going to be one that's going to be going at it for a while and might be decided by the pit stops. But like you said, Lukey having a decent race at the moment. He's finished 5th 3 times this season. Last time out as well in Silverstone was one of those, as was Canada and France. And it could be another one to secure that sort of best of the midfield pack in 6th position at the moment, in 7th position, in the championship at the moment. Schnitzel, though, is only 1 point behind him, but he's currently stuck behind the teammate of Lukey, and Jonas is going to try and hug that left-hand side. It's not going to make any difference, though. Schnitzel comfortably ahead before the braking zone. He retakes 6th position as J. Luke, a 3rd pit stop. That is damage once again. Fair play to him for carrying on, because he knows he could still get that extra point, which, in the grand scheme of things, probably won't make too much difference, but it is extremely close in that midfield in the championship, so you never know what could happen at the end of the race. So a 3rd pit stop for J. Luke. He's nearly a lap down at this moment in time, but Janil still leading this race, still 3.6 seconds ahead of the man on screen at the moment, who it looks like is going to be the bridesmaid once again in the race, and therefore in the championship.
Yeah, that's where you want to be at the end of the race, in the lead of the championship, but there's still a long way to go. We're not even half distance yet, so this is better than I was expecting and fearing, knowing the nature of the track, given what happened to me in the prospect earlier on. But there's some really good battles going on. And Schnitzel and Jonas, I think, as you mentioned, are going to go at this until the race is finished, which is going to be great for us.
Yeah, I think Jonas might have made a slight mistake somewhere, because he hasn't got any damage, but he has dropped. He actually has got damage. Jonas has broken his front wing. That right end plate is missing. Any people who are in Vietnam at the moment, if they want to collect a bit of carbon fibre, there's tons of it laying around this track and at the various marshal posts. Jonas has broken his front wing, so he could find himself in trouble. Kelvin's got within DRS range of James Dovey. 3 laps fresher, soft tyres could make a big difference here. Just not close enough to have a go into the braking zone of the hairpin. So maybe next time around he will be thinking about going for that position. We'll have to wait and see. We'll have to see if Jonas decides to come into the pits as well with that damaged front wing. Probably. He might just try and hang on. I'll have to wait and see. But downforce, we said it's very important around this track, so therefore it is going to have a big effect, of course. On to lap 13 now. And Janil seems to have lost quite a lot of time on that lap. 2.7 seconds to gap all of a sudden. He was a second slower last time around than Ollie Flavel. Did he make a slight mistake somewhere? Because he doesn't have any damage, but the 3 drivers behind him were all round about a second quicker. We said it's very easy for this to go wrong. Oh, Jimbo Manzi's out of the race, and we have a full safety car. And that is a big shunt.
Oh, that's a massive incident. unlucky to him, but Jelly's going to gain another position out of this, unfortunately. But Lawrence pits now. That's a great time for him. And Dane Star follows him in. But who were we talking about? Stayed out with the slight damage. Yeah, that was it. Jonas stayed out. Sorry. There's so many names.
I'm not sure if Jonas had a chance to come into the pits. That's the thing. The safety car has currently parked itself on the straight between turns 5 and 6, just waiting for the leader to come past. You'll see as Lawrence goes past, it'll have the green lights on. Thankfully, it's not just at the exit of that corner, otherwise we'd see the Mercedes getting slammed into. I think we're going to see a lot of drivers come into the pits here and maybe put the mediums on towards the end of the race. What this is going to do is mean that Janel's 3-second lead is going to be wiped out completely to nothing. So he is going to have Ollie Flavel right on the back of him. There's just enough time, I believe, that Mercedes can do the double stack, but I think we're going to see pretty much the entire field come into the pits and put the medium tyres on, which basically is going to mean we're not going to have a 50% race, we're going to have a 25% race around Vietnam to decide the championship, with Janel leading and Ollie Flavel second. Both of them avoid speeding in the pit lane, which is a very wise thing to do. You don't want to pick up a penalty for that, which could cost you. Khalifa just getting away with the double stack there. No, actually, he's come out behind Scopefielder, so Khalifa just losing a slight bit of time. James Dovey getting a speeding penalty, and Jonas, we'd have expected out of any of the drivers to come in, it would have been him. He stayed out on track.
Yeah, he stayed out the lap before as well. He did have a chance to pit just before the safety car came out. I was on board watching him, but he just feels he can cope with this damage, so fair play to him. Let's see if this pays off for him.
Now, I wonder if he was trying to avoid the double stack with Lukey. The problem is with that, they've now caught up to the safety car, so if he pits on this lap, he's going to be near the back of the field. He probably won't drop behind Dane Star, definitely won't drop behind Luke, but yeah, I'm not sure. If he does pit this lap, then I think he should have just gone in anyway following Lukey. If he doesn't pit, this could work out if there's another safety car and he could maybe put the soft tyres on. We'll have to wait and see. But Janel still in the lead of this race, as he has been pretty much since the start of it. In fact, I think he's led every lap so far. Does he have the fastest lap to see if he wants to get a Grand Chelem? And he does at the moment. So that's a very rare thing to see in league racing. Ollie Flavel second, Scopefielder third, Khalifa fourth, again losing out because of a double stack, and again we might see him pressure Scopefielder. Jonas and Lukey are 5th and 6th, but Jonas still has to come into the pitch. Snixel 7th, James 8th, Kelvin in 9th position. Could he get his first top 10 of the season? Could Lawrence hang on for his first top 10? But he is on the hard tyres. Dane Star in 11th, J. Luke the 12th and final runner in this race, and this is going to be a fascinating end. We're going to get at least one more lap under the safety car. I think probably only one, and this is Ollie's chance. Janel's made a slight mistake but got away with it. We're going to see some fantastic battling, I think, especially once the DRS zones become active 2 laps after the safety car comes in.
Yeah, we'll certainly see that, but we tend to get very, very early notice where the safety car comes in around this track. So around about where the hairpin is at the end of the long straight, it tends to be the notice I was getting in Prospect very earlier on, so just look for that to be the trigger point for the message safety car in this lap. At the moment, as far as we know, it's staying out for another lap, so as you say, I'm looking forward to these DRS battles in 2 laps time after the safety car comes in, but this race just got very, very interesting.
Yeah, it did indeed. We'll see how Scopefielder, can he hang on to the back of the front to Khalifa? We know will be there. Jonas, how will he cope with that front wing damage? Because it does look as though he's hanging out and hoping maybe to go on to the softs later on, maybe hoping for another safety car, because quite often safety cars breed safety cars. As J. Luke into the pits again for a 4th time. The Haas boys are busy down there today despite only having 1 driver, and like you said, we do normally see the safety car sign at a lot of tracks around about the end of sector 2, so on the way out of turn 12 coming to turn 13, And now, because there's been a safety car, any penalties will really cost you. I believe it is only Jonas with a 3-second penalty. James and Kelvin have 5-second penalties for speeding under the safety car. So I've got to say, they've kept it incredibly clean, because I found out around this circuit, turn 6 and 7 especially, it's very easy just to cut that corner a bit too much and pick up a time penalty.
Yeah, very easy to drift over there. No intention to do that, of course, but you can do it very easily without even trying to. But it's very harsh around that area of the track. But I'm surprised there's only one person with a time penalty and the others in the 2 stop goals, as you say. One was speeding in the pit lane, the other was under the safety car. I think actually they may both have been speeding into the pit lane, but regardless of how they got it, they both have one. And there's people close with 2 warnings, but no other penalties as of yet.
Yeah, Janil and Ollie both have 1 penalty, and that could change things with how close it is. If Janil gets a 3-second time penalty, and then there's another late safety car. We saw one in podium, we saw one last week at Silverstone, and that caused all sorts of chaos. Lawrence is into the pits, as is Danestar. I was going to say if they'd come together, but if they had come together, we'd have seen a sign come up saying 5-second penalties for the pair of them. I just think they're taking advantage of how long the safety car is spending out on track, because it's waiting for the entire field to get back together rather than just clearing off, so we can have some great racing for the end of this race. It's been out for, I think this is the 4th lap possibly. We've had the safety car out now, and Janil just following it around. These tyres will easily get to the end. Some of the drivers that might struggle though, despite, we know he's got front wing damage, he's going to struggle for that. 8-lap old mediums are going to feel pretty ropey when this safety car comes in, because they won't warm up anywhere near as easy as those around him on Jonas's car.
Yeah, that's always something to consider, and I don't know why he stayed out. He could have easily pitted 2 or 3 times, but chose not to, so maybe he feels confident there's going to be another one in the last few laps. But in any event, this is going to be like driving on ice for him, while his tyres are just not warming up. As you say, they are going to be so much harder to keep in the window than the cars around him, so he could well be out of the point very quickly after the restart.
Yeah, he could. Safety car then, we'll find out soon. Most of the field has come together now. They're just turning up to the hairpin, and J-Luke not too far off the back of the pack, so hopefully we'll get that sign from race direction that the safety car is coming in this lap, and then we'll see the lights come out, and then it is all up to Janil, and there we go. Janil now basically the safety car. He's got a long time to decide what he wants to do with this restart and when he wants to put that hammer down. This is pressure. 12 laps to go. Your championship rival right behind you, and walls at Hanoi ready to accept you if you make a slight mistake. If you're a bit late on the brakes, if you're a bit too heavy on the throttle, they will welcome you with open arms, and it's goodbye to your race and possibly goodbye to your championship. A few more corners to go on this lap then. When will he put the hammer down? When will he go for it? And the answer is coming out of turn 21. He has gone. Can Ollie stay with him? Gets a bit of wheel spin. That's going to give Janil a bit of free air. We are back to green flag racing then here at Hanoi with 12 laps to go. Anyone who seems to have been caught out, Jonas, we said with that broken front wing and cold tyres, he might struggle. And Lukey down the inside. Schnitzel thinks about a move as well, decides that it's not on. Lawrence all over the back of Kelvin, not able to get anything done on that lap that time around. But the top 4 drivers getting away now. It's Janil, then Ollie Flavel, then Schofielder. Bit of a gap between Ollie and Schofielder and Janil as well. Khalifa closer to the back of the Alpha Tauri. Not close enough this time to do anything. DRS not activated, of course. Schnitzel still looking all over the back of Jonas, knowing he wants to get a move done quickly as James goes very deep, nearly into the back of the Williams driver. That's going to bring him back into the clutches of Kelvin, Lawrence, Danestar and J-Luke. 12 drivers, 12 laps to go. This is going to be a fantastic end.
It most certainly is, and maybe some of the drivers are deciding to wait for DRS so they can get a prime optimum opportunity to do it down a straight rather than trying to do it outbraking into a corner. But nevertheless, you have Ollie's in DRS range now. It's a shame he's disabled, but he is making progress as Jonas isn't. He's going backwards with that damage. I think he's going to be eaten alive very shortly by the rest of the field. But he's keeping everybody honest, so it's been a good performance by people that are still in the race. Unfortunately, we have lost Jimbo, Brimpe, Sam and Eva Hannon very early on. We lost Eva Hannon on, I think, lap 1 actually, I think that was, but it's unfortunate, but we still have 12 cars running, and this is getting very, very tense, I think is the word in the air.
Yes, definitely. Fantastic move, I've got to say, from Stixel. There was just about a car's width between the outside wall and Jonas's car into turn 11, and he filled that with a Williams very quickly. Knows how crucial it was to get ahead. James has a look behind Jonas as well, really struggling with that damage. He's got to hope for another safety car or some rain, but we have been told it is dry for the rest of the race. 11 laps to go. The top two getting away all of a sudden. Schofielder seems to be struggling a bit more than Khalifa, not close enough, and in fact Lukey's got onto the back of these. Could we see Lukey get a podium here this season? That'd be a fantastic performance from him. But out in front, Janel still in the lead, 0.8 of a second ahead of Ollie Flavel. It's all going to close up, we think, very shortly. Janel setting the fastest lap on the previous lap, as you'd expect. After the VSC, he's going to have some defending to do, though, once the DRS becomes active next time around.
Yeah, he most certainly will. But you say it's supposed to stay dry. It was in ours as well, but look at the sky. It's getting ever so slightly darker.
Sorry to interrupt. James has sent it on Jonas. Not got it stopped in time. Clatters into the barrier. Breaks his front wing. J-Luke getting ahead of Kelvin as well. I think there was a bit of frustration there from James. Broken front wing, but that could cost him. He might now have to pay for the damage, a bit like Jonas is probably going to have to. And I've got to say I agree with you. If the weather was like this in Britain, I'd definitely think about taking a jacket with me.
Yeah, James does pit, as you rightly say there, but it's definitely tricky because it wasn't meant to rain in Prospect. We had conditions very similar like this, and Jeff was in my ear like, rain in 10 minutes, so I told him to shut up. He wasn't lying for once. It did rain in 10 minutes, so they could have rain in the last couple of laps like we did, but I don't think it will change anyone's line of thinking. But let's see if Ollie can get after Janel in the next couple of laps, because DRS will be active.
Yeah, Andy doesn't have to worry about any pressure from behind. Lawrence all over the back of Jonas. Not the best run, though, through 3, 4 and 5, so he's not going to be close enough, I think, to have a go on this straight. On the next one, though, I think the Alfa Romeo is going to be a bit of a sitting duck. But that move from James did just give him a bit of free air. James has pitted, put the soft tyres on. They will be taking him towards the end. Khalifa all over the back of Schofielder then. Can he get the move up? Can he maybe get onto the back of Ollie to give his teammate a bit of an easier time? On the inside line into turn 11. Gets ahead before the braking zone. Straightforward DRS pass there. He is up into third. And I think we're going to see another one this time round the outside. Into turn 11. Lawrence up into 7th place. No points so far this season. Could he be on for 6 tonight? Could he maybe be on for more as Dainstar makes his way past the hat of J-Luke? We said J-Luke should keep going. He's had, I think it's 4 pit stops now, as has Dainstar, and both of them look like they're going to be rewarded with points at the moment. Gap at the front of the race as they come onto lap 20, half a second.
Yeah, just to want to add, Lawrence has had 3 stops himself. I'm just checking the fastest laps at this stage. As you say, Janel inside top 10 comfortably, and outside the top 10 we have Kelvin, but I'm pretty sure James will go quicker on the soft tyres now, so the point is between them. Having said that, Jonas is in, so that could change things.
Well, it's definitely changed it for Kelvin because he's now inside the top 10, so James and Jonas look like they could be battling for the fastest lap, and maybe if there's a chance for someone else to pit without losing a position, maybe they'll go for it. Lawrence picks up a 3-second time penalty. That could prove to be costly in the latter stages. We'll have to wait and see, especially if there's a late safety car. Ollie, though, all over the back of Janel at the moment. The Mercedes getting a very good run. J-Luke getting ahead of Dainstar there, but we're going to stick with this battle. Schofielder back ahead of Khalifa as well. This is the move for the lead of the race. Janel's been in the lead since the start. Can Ollie go all the way round the outside into turn 11? He's later on the brakes. Tries to go for that cutback, similar to what he did on Sam earlier. Similar result as well. The Mercedes staying ahead. Khalifa back ahead of Schofielder in the end there. Can Dainstar have a go back at J-Luke? Not this time around. We're looking really quick earlier in the season. He's just had a few tough races like tonight, like last week. That really ended his championship hopes, unfortunately for him, and he needs to be careful because he's got Kelvin all over the back of him on much fresher tyres as well. I don't think Danestar had any fresh mediums left when he came into the pits. That is why they are 10 laps old, and that could be why he's struggling to make his way through the field as much as he would have liked. 8 laps to go then. Ollie's had one go into the hairpin. Maybe he might have to try about thinking it somewhere else and surprising the Mercedes.
Yeah, because the guy in front will know where you try to overtake him and just line up accordingly. But if you just line up and move somewhere he's not expecting you, you might force him off the track or, you know, get past him and lead the race. So it's always just trying, as long as there's no contact, I'm sure he'll be okay. But he's getting a great run, but unfortunately this bit of the track, just not quite long enough. But maybe the other side of this roundabout will be the best place for him.
Yeah, that is very possible. It does look at the moment as if Janel's doing slightly better on the ERS. Only 15%. I can't imagine either of them running out down this long straight. And Ollie does look a bit further back this time around, so probably not able to do a move. And Schofield will probably stay in 4th place. Luke is just dropped back ever so slightly from the back of Schofielder. He's now 2 seconds behind. Schnitzel closing up 7/10 of a second on that last lap. Could we see Schnitzel manage to work his way up into the top 5? He's finished 6th 3 times this season, so that would be his best finish. And let's not forget, these two are fighting for 7th in the championship at this moment in time. Danestar trying to close up to J. Luke again. I think those medium tyres, 11 laps old now, are just costing him. And it won't be too long, I think, before Kelvin fancies a go at the Red Bull driver. And it's been a good race from Kelvin. He's had a few problems with a 2-stop rule before. He's done 5 races this season. He's been disqualified from 2 of them, but in the 3 where he's actually been legal, did get a point for the fastest lap in Canada, so this would be his first top 10 finish. But we've already seen how easily it can go wrong around here. With 7 laps to go, Janel will be hoping that it all goes nice and smoothly to take the victory, most importantly take that championship.
Yeah, he'll definitely be hoping for that, of course, but of course he doesn't need to. All he can win the race and still not win the championship. So, of course, we alluded to it earlier, Janel will want to win the race, doesn't have to. Pressure all on Ollie, but there's a bit of pressure on Jan as well to keep the car on the track, of course. But he's doing a great job as Jonas goes quickest. So that's shook up the fastest lap outside the top 10.
Yeah, definitely. And Ollie's about as close as he was 2 laps ago here. In fact, I think he might be marginally closer, and Janel might have to do a bit more defending this time around. Neither of them really using their ERS, and Ollie's just about close enough for a dive bomb if he wanted it. Locks up both fronts and decides to stay behind for now. Janel getting a decent exit though through 11 and 12. Just spreads that gap ever so slightly. Again, Scopefielder gets passed by Khalifa, but he's just about able to stay in contact. He's not going to gain anything on penalties though, because he has no warnings, but neither does Khalifa. Ollie Favell has picked up 1, so he's 1 away from a 3-second penalty, which would really cost him in terms of the championship. Further down the field, battle for 8th place still raging. J. Luke hanging on for now, with Danestar and Kelvin behind him. And after 2 pit stops in the first 5 laps, I think this is the last place we expected Luke to be, with a few laps remaining.
Yeah, definitely. But Janel's made a little bit of a mistake coming around the final couple of corners. He locked up and he's lost a fair chunk of time to Ollie behind him, so Ollie may well overtake him into his favourite space on this lap if he could just keep that window to what it was.
Yeah, definitely. Again, not using any ERS down towards turn 6. Probably a wise decision if you're not going to decide to commit to the move. Just needs to stay close through 6 and 7 as Janel hops over the curb again. Ollie nearly going into the back of him here if he can get a good run through 8, but the dirty air, your car just washes out. You understeer at the front. Janel stretches the gap ever so slightly, but this could still be on for the McLaren driver if he wants to go for it. He's definitely closer than he has been over the last couple of laps. He's definitely going to be forced the long way round. He's definitely got a bit of his nose in front. Tries to squeeze Janel here, who goes very late on the brakes. For cutback is going to be on. Ollie gives him a slight tap here. He takes the lead of the race. Janel down into 2nd position. Ollie tries to defend from any possible comeback now. Can he just try and get away? He's done what he needs to do. He's got the lead of this race as his teammate looking for a move as well. Danestar and Kelvin now battling. That gives J. Luke a bit of free air and just a couple of chinks in the armour there for Janil. A slight mistake into the final corner, slightly wide and slightly wide through turn 6, too much curb at turn 7. That's all Ollie needed to take the lead of this race with 5 laps remaining. But again, as it stands, he's just going to come up short in the championship.
Yeah, it's been a solid effort all season for the both of them. Unfortunately, he's not going to win at the moment, but it's going to keep going. But talking of improvements in the championship, J-Luke, if he can overtake Lawrence, which he probably will do, because Lawrence has a 3 seconds past jump Renault in the constructors, so it's not over, and this is just a great battle further down the field.
Yes, it is indeed. J-Luke all over the back of Lawrence all of a sudden. He's really closed up to Lawrence. This could well make it a 4-way battle for the final points positions. We'll have to wait and see how it goes. He's closing in down the straight, but a bit like we saw with Ollie Flavel, can't really overtake into there unless you're really all over the back of someone. Janil wants to win this championship though in style. He wants to win with a race win. Can he go round the outside of Ollie Flavel here on the brakes into turn 11? He's ahead before the braking zone and retakes the lead. I feel like this could be a pattern, and if it follows this way every 2 laps, Janil will end up taking the lead on the final lap. So I'm not sure if any bookies are taking bets on one-hub races, but that might be what I'd go for. As J-Luke, he makes his way up into 7th position then in the Haas. A great recovery from him. Lawrence trying to get the cut back, and he does, because J-Luke took a bit too much curb, and that is how you take a position back when someone's got the DRS on you. Can J-Luke go down the inside into turn 13 though? We've not seen too many passes here. That's a bit of a forceful move and just doesn't quite work its way off, but that's allowed Dainstar and Kelvin to get all over the back of them a sudden. Lawrence holds on for another day.
Yeah, you said forceful. It was definitely a little bit forceful, but no damage done and no harm, I don't think. But definitely racing hard, these boys, even for 7th place. It's great.
It's what we love to see. Battles all the way down the field. I think J-Luke there just got a bit of wheel spin coming out of the final corner, or maybe trying to break for toe from Dainstar. Khalifa and Ollie, Khalifa and Schofield actually, they're keeping in touch with those front 2 at this moment in time. Last lap around, they gained a lot of time on Ollie Flavel. Well, they gained half a tenth on Ollie Flavel. Janil set his fastest lap of the race, no doubt aided by the DRS, and it looks as though he's far enough ahead now to just stay ahead as J-Luke round the outside into turn 6 gets that 7th position. He's going to be under pressure though from Lawrence if the Ferrari can keep it nice and clean through turn 8 and 9. Looks like he has done, so this battle could run on and on and on. Once again here, you're going to see Lawrence close it up. J-Luke, you can just see lights flashing on both of them. That means they're both very low on their ERS. The Ferrari has the DRS, so he retakes that 7th position. Is J-Luke going to try and make a move into turn 11? Not this time around, and Dainstar and Kelvin not close enough either. We've got fantastic battles all the way through the field. Back to 5th and 6th. Lukey seems to have recovered from a slight mistake earlier on. He's pulling away from Schnitzel now, so they're looking fairly safe, you've got to say, for 5th and 6th position. And Janil, he's got that gap hovering around 1 second, and Ollie did not have DRS down the pitch straight. He's back within a second. He really needs to close up over the next lap or two, just save a bit of ERS, and then maybe a final lap challenge. Won't be good enough for the championship, but I'm sure he'd take pride from a 2nd win this season.
Yeah, it's all about pride at this point, and he definitely wants to at least try and win a race, because it puts you in a better headspace if you can get a result over one of your top rivals, and makes you think next season we're going to have a battle, and that is what we look forward to. But right now they're battling, and it's not over yet, and it's definitely going to the wire.
Yeah, it is. We're not going to know who's taking the victory here until the end of the race, and I'd say apart from 5th and 6th place at the moment, all the points positions are really up for grabs. Schofield is slightly closer than he's been on previous laps. Perhaps not close enough as you see that flap open on his Alpha Tauri to go for a serious move on Khalifa, but could he end his season with another podium? And it has been a very decent season so far from Schofield. A podium in Holland, a win in Belgium, and a 2nd place in Canada being his 3 so far this season. The podium here for Khalifa would be his first, amazingly, since the Belgian Grand Prix, where he really did look like a serious title contender. J-Luke down the inside, very late on the brakes there. No way is he getting that car stopped in time, and he's going to lose 1 position. He's going to lose 2 positions, and is Kelvin going to make it free. The McLaren trying to go down the inside into turn 13. We saw J. Luke try this on Lawrence. And again, the car behind not able to make that move work. Very late on the brakes for J. Luke, lucky not to get any damage. Lawrence survives another day, and Dainstar on 16-lap old mediums, which aren't going to feel any good whatsoever in the dirty air. He survives another day, and Ollie has really closed up once again. He's back within that half a second, keeps it nice and clean through here, gets the DRS down this straight, clean through 6 and 9. We could see another possible overtake here into the hairpin.
Yeah, of course, that's what we want to see, and he's definitely lining up to do that. But as you say, the error from J-Luke there has just put Renault back ahead overall in the constructors by a point. So Renault breathing a sigh of relief, but of course J-Luke could always overtake the guy in front. And I'm just, at the moment, I think Lawrence finishes in the points if he can just keep going for the next lap or so. And that'll be his first one of the season. So that's good for him. And as you say, points are definitely not guaranteed to anyone in any order at this point, as Ollie takes the lead. Can he do what J-Luke couldn't? Yes, he's ahead.
And both Mercedes losing places on that lap as Scopefielder works his way back up into third position. So Ollie in the lead of this race onto the, well, we've got 4 sectors to go. They've got to make it through the S's twice more, and then the rest of the lap obviously only once more. But Ollie leading now. Can he stay ahead? Using up all his ERS there. You can see again the red lights flashing like they do when you drop below 10%, and that might make it hard to defend next time around if, and it is a big if, Janil can get close enough. Scopefield, a great move from him, having a good couple of laps. He's in third position. Can he take another podium for the AlphaTauri team to bump himself up in the Drivers' Championship and possibly secure himself a top 3, and he will get a trophy and a prize for that, of course, and I'm sure he'll be delighted with that this season. Ollie leading then, final lap of the race. Can Janil take the victory though? Can Janil take the championship? Unless he retires, it looks a certainty now that he will be the champion. He's closing in into turn 6. Ollie's not got a lot of DRS, and he's going to have to do some big defending here if he wants to hang on to this victory. This is going to be a fantastic end to the Vietnam Grand Prix, a fantastic end to the Precision tier and the whole of One Hub Season 16. Here comes the Mercedes. He's used whatever power modes he has got to streak on the inside at turn 10. He's well ahead before the braking zone, and Janil retakes the lead of the Vietnam Grand Prix. And if he can make it round the final few corners, it's going to be 4 wins out of the final 5 races, and a well-deserved second championship in a row for him. Khalifa not able to have a go back at Scopefielder, so that's probably that battle over and done with. Dainstar closing in on the back of Lawrence, but again, he's not close enough at the moment. Very late on the brakes from the Red Bull as J-Luke tries to go all the way around the outside and finds himself just forcefully guided, shall we say, over the curb. But for the 4th time this season, and for the 2nd time in One Hub, as a champion, Janil crosses the line. He wins the championship. Ollie Flavel will get 2nd. It's another podium for Scopefielder. Khalifa just misses out. But a great day for Mercedes. A great day for the Season 16 Precision Tier champion with his 4th victory of the season. It is Janil, and you've got to say, a champion's drive today.
Yeah, very much so. He led from the front pretty much start to finish. There was a couple of places where Ollie went past, but he just was never in any danger of finishing below 7th where he needed to, and Lawrence does claim the final point there, so congrats to him, his first point of the season. As brilliant as James will be the last one over the line in 12th place just now. There we go.
Yeah, James last driver across the line. Jonas in 11th will get a bonus point for the fastest lap. Great to see. Great to see a fantastic battle for the race. Dainstar getting driver of the day. I'm not sure he'll feel too pleased about the way his race went in the end, and I say that exactly as he leaves the session, so that maybe says it all. And we're seeing the Egyptian dance once again. 4 wins from the last 5 races. He just he did what Lewis Hamilton does sometimes. He stepped into another gear. Ollie Flavel tried everything. Didn't work for him in the end. He takes 2nd in the race and 2nd in the championship. As Scopefielder, I think he's took 3rd in the race and 3rd in the championship as well. So a great performance from him this season. They were your top three. Khalifa ends up finishing in 4th. And look at that, just 4 seconds between the top 4 drivers. Lukey, another fantastic job for him to come home in 5th. Likewise, Schnixel in 6th. Dainstar, he will actually take 3rd in the championship by a point as he got bumped up a place there. So, bit of a consolation. He'd have been hoping for a bit better, though, I'm sure, this season, especially with the pace he showed at some races. J-Luke in 8th, another driver to make 4 pit stop. Kelvin and Lawrence getting their best finishes of the season in 9th and 10th. Jonas was 11th. James Dovey, the final finisher. As we saw Jimbo crash out and cause the one and only full safety car. Rimpe, he retired in the pits. Sam showed great pace in the first few laps, and Verheyen didn't really get going. Didn't set a qualifying lap. Was out halfway around turn 2. A fantastic race today to end the season. It's been a brilliant season. And who is your final driver of the day nominee, Matt?
Well, as always, a lot of candidates stand out today who very good job by a lot of the field today. But I think I'm going to look at Lawrence today. He's only gained 1 position from the start, but he was a lot higher than that in the race. He's driven really well, and 3 stops, great effort today. I just want to ask him, how did it feel to finally get your first point of the season on the final race of the season?
I'm sure it felt absolutely delighting, and probably a few other words that I really shouldn't say on stream. It might just be after 9 PM, but I can't really get away with that. My driver of the day, I'm going boring. I'm going for the easy choice. I'm going for our Season 16 champion and our Season 15 champion. I'm going for Janel. You've won 2 in a row. Are you looking to make it a three-peat in Season 17? And if so, would you do the same as Louis Welsh and decide to retire on top of your game? Those are the questions. You'll be able to see the answers on the forum soon. You'll be able to vote for the driver of the day on Twitter, and as well vote for the drivers of the day in Prospect on Podium as well. And well, Matt, that is it. That is the end of One Hub Season 16. A brilliant season across all 4 tiers, and fitting that in Podium and in Precision, we had championship battles that went right down to the wire.
Yeah, you can't ask for more than that when you start a season. You want people to be fighting for the title into the final lap of the final race, and that's exactly what we've got. And it looked very much like we would have that way back in race 1 in the Netherlands. So, been a great season. So, thanks to the drivers for making it so entertaining, and thank you for having me in the box all season. It's been an honour.
It's been an absolute pleasure, Matt. Thank you for joining us, especially racing in Prospect and coming here. I'm sure you'll miss the season. I'm sure a bit of you, though, might be slightly glad that you've just recovered about 3 hours, at least, of your Friday nights to do with as you please. Thank you, of course, as well, to you guys watching. The league would not be the same without you. Thank you to the drivers. Thank you to our sponsors, Liam13. Make sure to check him out on Twitch and Facebook Gaming. And Next Level Racing, who will provide the trophy, or will provide, a wheel stand to the winner of the Going Gets Tough award. I'm sure more about that will be announced on Twitter when that is decided. That is the end, though, for One Hub Racing Season 16. You won't have to wait long, though. Plans are well underway for Season 17. The first race will be at the Red Bull Ring, and before that, we will, of course, have the qualifying night. But until then, from myself and Matt, thank you so much for watching, and we hope to see you soon. Goodbye.